Hello, everyone. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Kay.
Hello, how is everyone today?
Good. Looking forward to Christmas, honestly. The break. Looking forward to the Christmas break.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's it. Some people look forward to the stop, just stop, take a reset, a break, and then they can face the next year. Yeah. Mm.
How about
Hello,
you?
everyone. Yeah, I'm okay. Looking forward to the break at Christmas. Then yeah.
Mm.
Brilliant. Okay,
Mm.
so the subject we're discussing today, couple of things. One, we're looking at relational therapy. And two, if we get time, we're going to have a look at this little video that one of my clients has sent me as someone who I've just looked at on her channel for the first time. She's got 56 million views or something, like a crazy amount of views. So she's really highly regarded and followed by a lot of people. So she's obviously very influential. So if we get time, we can have a little look and we might agree with her and we might not. We might love her, we might not.
Okay.
Okay.
So thinking about relational therapy, can I pass this over to you then, Kay? Thinking about relational therapy, what do you know about it? What is it?
Obviously, about relationships. That's a lot of my work. I deal with relationships, and relational therapy is really about the partly about the relationship you have with the client. I think all therapy is it? Go on.
I think it's all humanistic variants of therapy. The relationship counts.
But also, if you think you've got a CBT therapist and they're working with what you're thinking, what you're feeling, although technically it's about what's happening to the client, obviously, if they've got a good relationship and a good rapport with their therapist, it's bound to be more effective, isn't it, than if they don't really like their therapist.
Yeah.
I I feel like with my clients, the ones that struggle in relationships, and that's probably why they're there. I struggle a lot with that as well in my So in the relationship, in the therapeutic relationship, it reflects like how they have relationships. Um, and I do feel like you've got to kind of click with your therapist. Maybe not in so much CBT, maybe not so much in that because it's very directive and it's like, if you think like this is incorrect. So you need to think like this. And so, and I think there is a place for that. So maybe it doesn't matter if you, about the relationship so much, but I think even in psychodynamic, people are sharing lots of their childhood trauma and stuff with me. So I feel like it does matter about the relationship as well. Um, yeah, yeah. So maybe that's why I'm integrative. So
I mean, but
yeah,
this is the thing, isn't it? Looking at it technically, in therapy, the relationship always matters. It has to matter who you're
yeah.
sitting in the room with. You've got to have the unconditional positive regard. You've got to have easy flow of communication. That has to matter on some level. But then the idea of relational therapy, it means you're focusing on, you said this, I felt this. It's literally focusing on what's happening in the room, isn't it? It's not
What
focusing on
is
what the person's bringing in. It's not focusing on their history. It's not focusing on their childhood. It's not focusing on what thoughts they've got going on about old stuff. It's literally what's happening with that person, isn't it?
I think it, yeah. I mean, I still do talk about their history because I'm very psychodynamic. So I still want to talk about the childhood. But whatever you're talking about, it it's like how am I feeling about this client? Why am I stuck with this client? Why can't we like because quite often there's like an impasse in the therapy, and it's like what's going on between me and this client in this room right here right now, and why do I feel like I'm feeling about her? And then it's giving that maybe back to the client in a kind way.
But that is the
um
same with every therapy has got that. But relational therapy is just that, isn't it?
Yes. So the way what I've read up on, and I want to explore obviously further, but everything you both said, bang on. And an example for me, really simple, basic example is if all humanistic therapists or therapy, a lot of therapy, it matters that relationship. But relational therapy, it's like you might choose to share something, how you're feeling at that moment, or something more about you. Whereas, say, person-centered would be like you share nothing about you. And if the client says, "Oh, don't you do that?" Why do you want to know that? You're not meant to share, but relational, you would make that relationship gel more. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but that is very technical, though, isn't it?
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's like if you're going to look at just the technicalities of it, um, yeah, I agree. That's probably what it is. Um, yeah. So
However,
it's just about my relationship with this client. It's very Gestalty, I think. Going back to the Gestalts thing, that's very Gestalts. If I feel like that, but then you can with Gestalts as well. You can talk about their history. Kind of, yeah. I mean, I always like that. But and I never forget my a tutor on my level 4, he always used to say, the past is in the room. So, and it is. And if they don't want to talk about their past, you can think, okay, so what's going on here with me and this client now? And yeah, how do I feel like that is from their past? Or what are the clues, really? The clues to their past is in the room. So,
see, I
um,
was thinking when Sharon was saying about the not being able to speak about how you're feeling when you're doing a person-centered, I would feel that it is okay to bring that some of that into
mm,
person-centered. I wouldn't feel strictly that there's absolutely no self-disclosure because you're not talking about your stuff. You're not talking about, oh, well, yeah, I was divorced as well, and you want to know what happened to me, right? You're not doing that. But if you are
no.
feeling a sense of loss with them,
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
questionable whether should you be bringing that in and saying, well, I'm feeling that. I can feel that loss. I'm feeling painful.
And I guess immediacy is bringing your stuff in the room as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
It it's a great grey area. Relational, just like I think you were saying, it's about what's happening in the room between you both. Um, yeah, you might be discussing the past, but it's how that's making you both feel in the room as well. Um, it's just taking it to the next level, isn't it? I
so
guess.
it's yeah. So it's like if someone's discussing trying recovering from an addiction, um it might trigger stuff for me like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember feeling powerless over my addiction. And I could and probably would share that much. Oh yeah, I've felt powerless. Um, or were you feeling powerless at that point? And I've felt powerless before. So, and that's kind of all you need, I think, to share. I don't have to share that I've I've had an addiction. Um, I sometimes do if I think it is going to benefit the client. And actually, in my therapy, it did benefit me that my therapist shared that she had an eating disorder, which is an addiction. I feel like it is. Some people would disagree, but I think it is an addiction. And then I felt like, oh, at least she kind of she understands where I'm coming from then. Because if I hadn't have had that, I would have felt like, oh, she doesn't really understand,
Yeah.
she's just gonna go, well, you need to stop doing it.
That's
Like a
really
lot of people
interesting.
do.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you why, because the research shows, right, the money that they've actually put into researching this shows that the client gets more out of you reflecting back what's happening for you right now rather than you self-disclosing anything. But that's the
Oh.
research, right? I know, but
Oh.
you're saying your personal experience was actually you found it helpful.
I did. Not, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted her to say a great deal about her, but just to know that she'd had that experience, then it made me feel, oh, okay, I can kind of relax and share my experiences now. And
But
it just, yeah.
also, I think it depends on your experience of therapy. So if you've had a lot of therapy, relational therapy might be the final thing that you want to do as a really niche sort of area of specializing. You know, you're going to walk into that room and the person, and it's going to be quite intense because you're just going to be talking about what's happening here. Whereas if you're talking about your childhood, you might want a different type of therapy. If you're talking about relationships that are breaking down or divorces or court cases, you might want a different type of therapist, because also that relational therapy is recognizing, I'm guessing, I don't know a lot about it, recognizing how to improve your communication, how to improve what how you're interpreting what the other person is saying, how to feed that back. So I'm guessing with relational therapy there's also a lot of modeling behavior and possibly psychoeducational stuff as well in there, is there? Do you think? Do we know?
What do you think, Sharon?
Do you know, I wouldn't have given that a thought, but I guess the modelling, I can, yeah, relate to that really. But then that goes again to all therapy, doesn't it? It's just taking it that step further again. Um,
But not
I,
really, because if you're being person centered with a person who is talking about their divorces or talking about their life, they don't care what you're doing over there, whether you're saying things in exactly the right specific, okay, yeah, this is, I need to say this in a certain phrase for them to get this. They
yeah,
just want to be heard.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So true. I, I feel relational is a little bit more challenging. Like you say, it almost be, if you've done therapy, this would almost be your final step, um, because it is just that little bit more pushing. The relationship between you both must be a good one, because you can actually face ruptures almost and then come back.
I was just thinking about that and thinking about my own therapy and thinking that because we learn to have a relationship with our first caregiver, so that's the blueprint of the relationship. And if your relationship, the first relationship you've learned to have is not accepting or like quite critical, you're gonna feel like you can't be yourself. So yeah, so it's like we get bent out of shape. So if the therapist models empathy and positive regard and acceptance, and I think that's because that's with all therapy as well. If then they model that in the relationship with you in the therapy, then you can learn to think, oh, actually, I am accepted for what I think, and I don't have to be a certain way to be accepted. So this person is accepting me. Whatever I say to her, she's going to accept it as that's what I'm feeling and thinking, and that's okay. And I think that's a real big part. But it's really hard to I guess to engage like that and quite intense. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
really about expectations of the client as well, isn't it? Once you're relational therapy, or whether you're person-centered, or whether you're CBT, or whether you're psychodynamic, or whether you're integrative, but managing the client's expectations, it is a skill that's learned, isn't it, through experience as well.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
So should we
Oh,
have a little look at this video?
Yeah. Go on.
Ready? Are you? Let's hope. Let's see if my magic skills are going to allow me to share.
But she is here to tell you that you are the prize. Stop trying to convince him. That's your problem. This is what you're doing wrong, Rhonda, okay? This is what you're doing wrong, Elizabeth. You are the prize. Stop trying to convince him to choose you. This episode is important. You got to take your power back, baby girl. You got to take it back. The whole conundrum of what is going wrong with your life and with women's lives is men have convinced us. Stop humming, car. Men have convinced us on a global scale that we are good for, I don't know, cooking, cleaning, and babies. You're goddess status, okay? And now with the post-feminist movement, they've convinced us that we're also good at paying 50-50, okay? Don't beg, don't chase, stop giving your power away. You need to stop convincing men to be with you. This whole notion of like, how do I know if he wants to take me seriously? How do I know if he wants to be with me long term? How do I know? How do I know? How do you know? Because you are the prize, babe. Like you are literally a God-giving, a life-giving creature. Like you can, being married to you and being with you long term is the prize. You are the prize. Once
So there's 56 million people out there listening to.
wow.
I know it's a lot of people, isn't it?
The thing is, what she's doing, in my opinion, is verbalizing the way things are now for the younger generation, and everything's it was too far the other way. She was right. We were meant to bring up children or have babies, bring them up, cook, clean, look after the home. And then when we started to work and still do all that, and a lot of the younger generation are like, what? I ain't having that anymore. And it's strange. My son actually, he said something so randomly the other day that made me think, wow, the younger generation are so different, because it was something about, I don't know, doing the washing. And he was like, well, yeah, I've got to put wash load on. It was not, it didn't occur to him that it wasn't his job.
Really good, isn't it?
So, yeah. I mean, she's right, but whoa.
I think
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a few clips of her talking because she's talking for a long time. I'm going to get some of the clips together and then we can watch a few clips of her talking and then we can react to that because that's the first time I've seen her, right? And I have no idea what it was that she was talking
What
about.
did you think?
I liked it. I thought, yeah, great, wonderful. This is good. This is going the right way. But from what I've heard from people, there are some controversial things in there, like it sounds like a bit borderline how to manipulate people to do what you want. And that's how it sounds to me when I interpret how she thinks this is how men behave and this is what you have to do to get them to do what you want. And that to me feels a
Right.
bit sort of engineered. And which guy? Sorry, who? Is there one specific guy? They're not all the same, so I'm feeling a bit like it's gone too far the other way.
Yeah.
But I've only heard a tiny little snippet of it, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'd like to hear more, I think, because I did feel like she was, yeah, over the top, I guess, over the top, gone the opposite way. A healthy relationship is like an equal
Yeah.
relationship where we both respect each other. And I didn't hear much respect for men from her, and their challenges in a relationship.
Mm.
Um, and even like nowadays, I don't feel like a lot of men don't know what they're supposed to do. They don't know how to react or interact with women because they've got this perhaps unfair shadow of them that men are all misogynistic and men do X, Y, and Z, and it's all to disempower women. And I think she's gone the opposite way and saying, take our power back. I think I agree. I feel like it's great to empower women, but I don't think you can manipulate someone to see you as a goddess or want you as a goddess. But that's what I'm saying. I'd like to hear
We'll
a
see
bit
some.
more what she was going to say.
Yeah, when I've got time, I'll put some clips together and we can watch a little video.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is
Yeah.
this idea, it's great to empower women, but not at the expense of men. We want everyone to be empowered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
It's,
want, yeah, equal relationships, which is like the healthiest way to have a relationship, that we both care about each other's needs, actually. Yeah.
yeah. There's, I mean, at last, things are coming around, but like you say, it's gone so far the other way in so many things. Parents and children, young people. It's like, the parents are almost blamed for a lot of things. I saw a video the other day and it was like, stop blaming the parents. They made mistakes, but we know we made mistakes and we're trying to right them a lot of the time. That's the thing. There are still some people that are old school, aren't they? And because of that, there's so much the other way. We need to come, like you say, in between where people are equal.
Yeah, and you're never going to get that in a parent-child because the child
No, no.
is powerless. But I feel like because the child probably puts the parent on a pedestal, and
Yes.
expects a lot. Like it's almost like the child thinks of the parent as this god or goddess,
Yeah.
and they can magically make everything better, and that's not a realistic view.
No,
But
no.
obviously, when you do grow up, you just kind of you could then see your parent as just another person who's
Yeah.
been doing their best. And
Yes.
and I like this phrase that we're just parents doing our best, and sometimes it's rubbish for the children.
Yeah.
Uh, and in a way, that it's always going to be little pockets of rubbishness for the
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
And it's just to enable the child to say what they need or want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Lovely.
it's and you said something about men, they almost don't know what to do. And in some ways, I feel sorry for men because they might have the model parent who said, right, you do it this way. But society now is like, no, we don't do it that way anymore. And the young men are like, whoa, how do I cope? I've always learned this way, but she's saying no, not anymore. And I'm trying to bring my children up the way I was brought up, but that's not right anymore. Today's well, I guess every era's had it, but it is learning. We
I think
are learning.
I think it is more powerful these days because of social media and because of expectations are so no longer is it the boundaries are the walls of your home and what happens in this
Oh,
home, this is our family. Now the internet invades, doesn't it? And everyone has all
Mm.
this information. And then
yeah,
one year the men are supposed to be doing this thing, and then the next decade they're supposed to be doing something different. And then they're having to evolve and change as well.
yeah,
And no one's given anyone a rule book.
No. Oh,
No, there's so much toxic stuff on social media as well. Maybe men get kind of channeled by that, really.
yeah.
Dare I say it, like Andrew Tate stuff. Well, misogynistic, I guess I can call him.
But there
And
are
wants,
equally positive role models to follow as well.
yeah,
They
there
don't
are
have to
equally.
choose to follow Andrew Tate. They can choose Matt Willis from Busted, or anyone else that's in sobriety or doing a little podcast they can watch. Right?
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully they will get a choice and like a diverse mixture of what they can model themselves on. I don't know. As a teenage boy, hearing Andrew Tate, I think there's a lot of kids that are swayed by that, and maybe there's not enough, you know, needing to show your sensitive side and being spiritual is okay, and yeah, yeah, maybe I don't know,
But I
or
think that's growing. I think the positive side is growing. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? Let's hope
yeah,
so.
I would hope so. I would hope so that that side is there is growth there as well. Yeah.
So, speaking about growth and sobriety, we've got Christmas coming up. Have you got any words of wisdom for anyone who's decided this Christmas they're going to have a sober Christmas, and any tips as to how they can
It's really,
socialise without
it's
drinking?
really hard, isn't it? Because it's like this is the season of alcohol. And even if your thing is not alcohol, it's a mind-altering substance, and so it might lead you to other things like other substances as well. So yeah, it's hard. It's like everywhere you go, like adverts everywhere, alcohol everywhere, people drinking everywhere and having parties. Um, I think surround yourself by dry people maybe, or have a little support network of people that don't drink, so you can go out and have some fun and not have to drink. And when it gets too much, when like if you are out in your little circle of people that are abstinent from drink, and it gets too much and it gets too crazy and loud and drunk, like everyone else in the pub is getting drunk and loud, that's the time to leave. Always have an escape plan wherever you go, whether it's a Christmas party, a work do. It's like it's okay to escape. And even if it's like, I always think by 10:30, people are on the way to being loud and drunk, like most people at the Christmas parties, and
Yeah.
maybe go, that's time to go.
Yeah.
So go, like
That's
have some fun, have a dance, have a soft drink, talk to people and interact, and then yeah, and then maybe when it's getting a bit much, escape.
That really makes sense. I was doing some reading up on how to cope, because it is like you said. Some people say it's the season to be jolly, but it's not. It's the season of alcohol.
Yeah.
Everything it revolves around a toast or champagne breakfast or everything. If you decide that this year you're not going to drink for whatever reason, to go with the plan in mind. So, right, I'm leaving at this time, to constantly have a drink in your hands, whether it be a Coke or lime soda or non-alcohol beer, whatever. But then people don't feel, oh, you haven't got a drink, let me get you one. Um, and also to have rehearsed lines, "Oh, I'm driving," or "Oh, I'm not drinking tonight."
Yeah.
It doesn't agree with, of whatever. If you can rehearse it in your head, like you say, Kay, if you know you're gonna leave really around 10:30, because you know everyone's gonna be getting on it then, it's all a lot about, I was gonna say all about, it's not, a lot of it though is mentally rehearsing how you're going to be and cope.
That was going to be my next question. What sort of things could you actually say to someone to get yourself out of drinking? So, what sort of things can we come up with that people can say that they're not going to feel bad about, or they're not going to feel too awkward about saying? And is it a good idea to practice it before you go out?
Yes. Definitely practice. Driving is a good one. That's an easy one, really, isn't it? Oh, I'm driving.
Driving. Okay, so there is this element of, because I can see how you're describing that and showing that, Sharon, is almost like an apologetic, I've
Yeah,
got no right to be sober, so I
how
need an
awful.
excuse to say I'm driving, because the reality is you don't need an excuse to be sober. You are allowed to choose not to drink, and the other
Mm,
person's allowed to accept that or not, right?
mm.
But the reason why people get reeled into just having a drink is because the other person's putting pressure on, just
Yes.
have a drink. Oh, come on, just, it don't matter. You can get a cab home, leave the car here.
Yeah.
And it's being able to, what you're going to say in the face of
Okay.
rejection.
Can I just say as well, it's great to be the designated driver, and you could volunteer yourself to do that, or just drive your car there and say, I'm driving. But if you don't drive, you could always say, I'm just not drinking today. And you don't have to say why. You don't have to kind of validate it. It's like, I'm not drinking today. You could say, I'm on a health kick. I'm doing dry December. Wow. Everyone does dry January, but I'm doing dry December because I want to look after myself and I want to look after my health. Yeah, there's lots of things that you could say health wise and health related, and
Yeah.
you don't have to say I've got a problem with drink, so I'm not drinking at Christmas. That's what you don't have to say.
And people are more accepting now of
Well,
non-drink.
sober people are more accepting. But if
Yeah.
you're in a pub and you're surrounded by people that are coked up or they're
Yeah.
drinking,
Yeah.
they're not that accepting, are they often? But by that
Yeah.
time, like you say, you need to be out of there before that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as well, there's some things that you can do if you are drinking and don't want to drink too much. If you're trying to control how much you drink, I would say, and these are just like healthy things or safe things to do. So have something to eat before you go out. If you're going to go out drinking, eat first.
Yeah.
Um, don't get involved in rounds. Just try not to get involved in the rounds because then that's when you get to drink very, like, yeah, you have to keep up with everyone else then because you're buying a round. If it's your round, then you've got to buy another round and you usually finish the drink first.
Mm.
So try not to be involved in the rounds. Just say, I'm gonna watch what I'm drinking, so I don't want to be in the round. And drink water in between. Water, like being drunk, that feeling of being drunk is just being dehydrated. So the alcohol dehydrates you, and that's the effect you get when you're drunk. It's just being dehydrated. So if you drink a pint of water, or even half a pint of water, or even like you were saying, Sharon, soda water, it's still water, soda water and lime. Have a pint of that or half a pint of that in between your beer or whatever it is you shot. Don't do shots. I'm awful on shots.
Mm.
So I've learned now, I can't do shots because
Mm.
they're too easy to get drunk
Mm.
on. And they
Yeah.
are because they're only little, and especially little jelly bean ones and stuff
Oh,
like that. It's like it tastes quite nice.
yeah, it's just
So
sweet. It's the
yeah,
sugar, isn't it? So this
yeah,
idea of the feeling, if a person is like half the reason they're drinking is because they're anxious, Like, because a lot of people feel as if, well, I'm going to have that one because it's going to relieve my anxiety, especially if I'm at work, and I've got people and I've got to speak to them and I don't want to speak to them. So if I'm feeling anxious about that, I'm going to have a drink. Like, how have we got any ideas about how they're going to soothe that anxiety? My idea would be not to have the first one and deal with the anxiety without the alcohol, and then put the alcohol off until later in the evening. So don't start drinking until like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Because if you start drinking because you're anxious, the first one that goes down, that soothes the anxiety, you're going to have another one.
Yeah. I mean, that having the first one, if you don't want to drink, sometimes it's like one is too many and 1,000 not enough. So if you're in that kind of mindset, one is too many, 1,000 not, don't have the first one,
Don't have the first one.
because
I'll
it's
put the
not going to
first one
end well.
off. Mm.
I just feel like breathing, like take a breath, and always the fear of it, the fear of interacting with all these work colleagues that probably you think are better than you or more experienced than you or whatever it is you're anxious about, is not true. It's like your head's lying to you, and they might be feeling just as anxious and they might be getting on it as well because of that reason. So, so I would take a breath, do that self-talk is it's okay. Whatever happens, I'm gonna be okay. I'm like gonna be in my adult, if you like. I'm an adult in an adult situation, and I'm just talking to all these other adults. It's adult to adult. Um, and that may make you feel a bit more confident.
I think as well, I was, well, two things. First, I was thinking another thing you could say is, I don't want to feel bad tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that is
Really good.
because I'm doing X, Y, and Z, end of. But also, what you were saying, yes, allow your anxiety, which is hideous. I'm not saying it's okay, but tell yourself, actually, it is okay to be feeling like this. And probably or possibly so many others are feeling the same. And yes, we are just adults. I'm going to be okay when I leave here. And having alcohol might make you say something you regret. Whereas being sober, you're more in control of what you're saying. So to live with the anxiety, say it's okay, breathe, and I'm okay. I know I feel like this, but I'm okay. I'm safe.
And this
And
feeling will
maybe later
pass.
on have a drink if you choose to.
Yeah, and this feeling will pass, and it won't stay around all evening, and it's only just right now for this minute. I was thinking something else when you said that, Shan, but it's gone now. It's gone, completely gone.
I was
I
Oh
always,
yeah, the feeling better tomorrow business. I want to feel good for January. I'm not drinking in December because I want to be at my peak fitness for January.
right.
and I heard something the other day actually that was like someone was saying, "Oh, I don't drink because it makes me feel bad." And then the other person said to them, "Or don't you even drink on special occasions?" So the first person says, "Why would I want to feel bad on special occasions?" So, oh, yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because there is
Yeah,
having that control over your choices and wanting to know what you did and what you said and where you
yeah,
went, and you want
yeah,
to still remain in control of your choices.
yeah,
But that is perfect, isn't it, Kay? It is,
yeah.
because it just doesn't make any sense, does it? If it makes you feel bad, why would
No.
you do it?
Oh,
why would you do it?
on
Why would
special
you do it on a special
occasions, I'm
occasion?
happy to feel
Yeah,
rubbish.
yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is talking about loneliness at Christmas, because we've only got a few minutes left. So can we talk about any tips or ideas we've got for people who are on their own at Christmas and might feel as though they are having a miserable time and everyone else is enjoying it?
I feel two things. If you feel rubbish, allow yourself to feel rubbish and don't beat yourself up over it. Oh, it's Christmas, I'm supposed to be happy. If you feel rubbish, you feel rubbish. But I also think, wouldn't it be good if we can try to reframe it and see it as, like we said at the beginning, a break. So it's been rush, 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 busy, busy, busy. Now I'm having a couple of bank holidays where I'm going to have my favourite food or watch my favourite film, and just stop before I start again in the new year. It's a hard time because psychologically we go, oh, it's family time, let's all be together, let's party. Try and reframe it, I think.
Yeah, because so many people have got unhappy families or they've lost people, and Christmas is a reminder of all the other Christmases that have ever been, you know.
Yeah.
And it is
I,
like a collective therapy weekend, isn't it? Where everyone has to face their things that they feel not comfortable about. You can't avoid it at Christmas. You can avoid it all year, but you can't avoid it at Christmas.
I
Yeah.
think as well, it's okay to feel bad and allow yourself to feel bad. But actually, if you're depressed and you're feeling bad, it's okay to go out for a walk. Because just getting out of those four walls
Yeah.
changes your whole perspective. Just go out for a little 15-minute walk somewhere nice,
Yeah.
even to a park or a river or a beach. So whatever is around you, have a little tiny walk down to there. Have a look for other lonely people,
Yeah.
other people that might be on their own, and go and knock on their door with a card. Because it gets you out of your head and you're helping someone else then.
Yeah.
And that is, I feel like that's the answer to depression. Don't sit in your head because it's behind enemy lines. I like to say being in your head when you're depressed, it's like being behind enemy lines. So get out, try and either, I mean, not everyone is religious, but go to some community
Yeah.
thing, volunteer to serve
Homeless
dinners at the
field
Salvation
dinners.
Army or whatever it is that you've got around you. Pre-plan it and maybe volunteer to do something on Christmas Day. And help someone else, even if it's knocking on a neighbour's door that you know she's going to be on her own or he's going to be on their own, and you've knocked on the door with a card and like, let's have a little cup of tea and a
Yeah.
chat then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do have access to the internet, obviously you're watching this, you can go onto Twitter and do the hashtag join in with Sarah Millican, her campaign every year on Christmas Day. She has millions of people go on Twitter, and then if you're feeling lonely, you can go on there and help other people by talking with them. So you can pick people up on Twitter, and even if you're not the person that says I feel lonely, there'll be other people on there that are saying that, and you can help them to feel less lonely by talking with them.
And I thought what Kay said was about pre-plan. Any form of anxiety or depression, so whether it be anxiety about the Christmas do or being alone at Christmas, if you pre-plan what you're going to do, it can help you get through it.
Definitely, that's everything from are you going to have a bacon and avocado sandwich for
Yeah,
breakfast? Or are you going to have a nice chicken sandwich for lunch? Or what are you going
yeah.
to do for yourself for that day?
Mm, mm.
Can I have a brie and fig sandwich?
Okay, you can have bean fig. I'll have bacon and avocado. I'll have a nice chicken dinner. Chicken, I don't like turkey much, honestly. I think it's overrated. So, is there anything else we want to mention? Is there anything else that's crossed our minds while we've been talking? No, that's it. Lovely. Okay, well, it's wonderful to see you both back here. Have a lovely Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you in 2026.
Yes, thank you, Summerson. Bye, Kate, and happy Christmas and New Year, if
Happy
you
Christmas,
celebrate.
everyone. Happy Christmas, Sharon and Tamsin.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.